Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here. Now this is Wednesday, August 28th, and it's about 3:30 in the afternoon Eastern Time, and it's been a fairly benign day. Well, once again, it was one of these early awakening things, but I'd had a good 7.5, 8 hours sleep, so that's fine. Did the Wall Street Journal online, and then I put my materials together to mail over to the Indiana Medical Board, and then I trotted off to the Lewis Center post office here in Ohio, Lewis Center, Ohio. Well, it's more of an address than a location, although there's a little tiny burg that calls itself Lewis Center. So I thought, well, I'll just do the overnight mailing to this place in Indianapolis. And I thought about sending it either UPS or Federal Express, but I thought, well, no, let's do the post office. So I did an express mail, and it's $19.95, so it's $20 for overnight. And I had done this before, and I was very confused and messed it up. And they kept sending me back to do this and sending me back to do that. So I figured out enough that today I didn't take any steps I wasn't sure of, so that when I went up to the counter, I'd filled out the label, but then I left the rest of them to seal it and put the label on and all that kind of stuff. I had to reassure them that I didn't have any gasoline or anything in the envelope. I love the list of questions you go up there. Now, I had actually gone up there yesterday with to send something else off. I'd sent something else off that was in a sort of a non-standard envelope, and you get this great list of questions. Do you have any chemicals or explosive materials or this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other? No, it's just a computer disk. Yeah. I suppose the computer disk might burn if put in a fire. I don't think it's going to explode. So anyway, there were a couple of guys in there who were getting passports. And one guy I think may have been getting his passport renewed. And then there was another guy that had one of the old green passports from the 1960s and 1970s, before they went to the blue passports there in the late 70s, and that was kind of refreshing. Now he hadn't had his canceled because he had never had his renewed, so that means the last time he used this passport was probably when he was a student. He was kind of like a little younger than me, but well, no, he's probably about my age actually, and he had clearly been traveling, as a teenager, and he had one of these green passports like I had, but since I had renewed mine when I took my mother over to England in 1979 for 2 weeks. We can talk about that on another date. They issued me a blue one, and they sent me the old green one back, so it's canceled. So that brought back some memories. And the other guy who was renewing his, he had lost his wallet. He had lost his ID. But yet somewhere along the line he had procured an affidavit of ID. I'm sure this is all very legitimate, but it just seems very complicated. Well, the one fellow had tried to pre-fill out the other fellow had tried to pre-fill out his application, but he had used whiteout on it. And the woman at the counter says, "Oh, no, you can't. She says, is there whiteout anywhere else on any of this stuff?" So I paid my 20 bucks and got in and out without, it was, after having the good sense not to try to actually do what I wanted to do. I'd let them do it. That's why they're there, I guess. They're helping you. And in this case, sometimes they do help you. I don't know, Paul may be home. Is Paul home? No, I thought I heard something. I thought I heard somebody come in the door. Well, the rest of the day was taken up with, of course, assiduously checking my email, and I watched all my YouTube stuff, and read the Wall Street Journal, and clicked around a bit, and I decided finally, much against perhaps my better judgment, we shall see. I probably know how to get out of this problem if it's a problem after my year's experience with this machine. To sign up for a Facebook account again. As some of you may know, I was on it for about 2 hours about a year ago, and then I got so confused I had my son get me off. I'm watching this chipmunk. It's, "Don't you go in the house." There's this chipmunk that likes to zoom clear across the porch, but I'm always interested in, well, one time he did, he came in the house. But he ran back out, but maybe the next time he won't run back out. Alright, so I signed up, but it's very interesting, within moments of being on this thing, and of course they send you an email, "Welcome to Facebook." Within moments, when I went back and then checked to see, when you got more than like one page into the site, they had gotten my email wrong. Now, come on, guys, no wonder their stock price went into the tank on the day of the initial offering. I don't think it had anything to do with NASDAQ at all. I think it had to do with just the fact that people realized that their product was a piece of crap. Well, on that note, I'm still awaiting notification of what readings I might be doing tomorrow at this funeral and the funeral the next day, although maybe I'm not going to be reading at all. I hesitate to disturb the rector about this, so I shot off an email to our parish administratrix in hopes that she might reply, but on the other hand, hell, I'm a pro, A pro does what he has to do what he has to do, so if I have to go in there and just do it cold, I'll go in there and do it cold. I'd prefer not to, given the importance of this occasion, both cosmically and locally and personally to all the various people involved, but you have to work with what you're given, don't you? Well, on that note, I'm going to say bye-bye, only to note that the barometric pressure's been down below 30 point a million, which always makes me feel terrible. It's been down around 29.9, which makes me feel wonderful. That's sea level pressure. I'm here to tell you that human beings were created and made to live at 3,000 feet. So that's still a bit too high for me, but I feel a lot better there. I haven't had to take much pain medicine at all. So that's always a good sign. So on that note, I'm going to say bye-bye, YouTubers. Here, I'll give you another view of our little wonderful yellow flowers. Let me zoom in down there for you. Isn't that neat? Isn't that just neat? I think that's just tremendously neat. So bye-bye, YouTubers. Well, YouTubers, it would appear that I've got the readings for the various services here the next 2 days. Now, it turned out that I didn't get it from anybody up the church. I did get it from somebody, you know, who goes to the church, but not from an official church source. I got it from my retired, you know, judge buddy who he being somewhat more suspicious than I went down there yesterday and got the readings. It turns out that the service bulletin's already been printed up, so he got the readings off the service bulletins, and so he called me and gave me the readings, and we squared away who's going to do what readings at what service. So that'll be, you know, that solved that conundrum that I just told you about here in the last piece without having to get into a state or bother anybody. It turns out also that our parish administratrix has departed for another job in one of our local school systems, in which her husband teaches. Now, I have no problem with nepotism as long as you're competent, but I'm going to tell you right now. Well, she's borderline. She's borderline. I wouldn't say she's incompetent. She's just, I'll tell you, she's not somebody I'd hire. Put it that way. So now Paul got home, and we haven't had a chance even to talk about any adventures he may or may not have had. So there may be an addition to this here in a few moments, but who knows? We'll see. Alrighty. Well, just to confirm, Paul says there's not anything really of note here that happened today at the hotel, except that his immediate supervisor, whose nephew or relative works at the hotel, and who apparently, how shall we say this, is not, you know, he's okay, but he's not splendid at what he does. She sort of wants Paul and this other fellow who's got the same position he does but works at a different time of day to essentially do sort of the last third of this fellow's job for him. So perhaps another story is developing apace, and this must be handled very delicately, of course. So there we are. All right. Now, well and truly, bye-bye, YouTube.